Recording in progress.
Hi, this is Valentina, and I'm going to be doing the midterm. And I'm gonna start by opening up the files Mondial Input MSSQL and Schema on the SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm just right click, open with, then do it for both files. Connect. Connect. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same for the schema. Open with. Okay. And then I've already created a database for this, but how I did it was on here, on the Mondial file, this was not in there initially. So I put create database Mondial go and then executed it. And then for that to do that, its thing. And I'll do the same here. Execute. Okay. And then after this is executed, all I did was refresh this and the Mondial database popped up. And then what I did was copy and pasted everything into its own query from both files. So after this is done executing, I'm going to do that. So I'm just gonna Control A, Control C, right click on this, new query, Control V, same with the schema, Control A, Control C, right click, new query, Control V, execute both. Again, this will take a second. Okay, and then I'm going to open another query. And I'm going to do this for question 1. So I'm going to pull up my questions. So copy, just to make it easier on myself. Paste the question. Make this into a comment. So select the country code of the country followed by the province. that the city is in, along with the city name, and find the city or cities with the highest population. So I want to check that everything's loaded correctly first. So what I'm going to do is select all from city and then execute that. Okay, looks like everything popped up correct. And I'm gonna be using the city table and the country table. So I want to take a look at both tables on its own really fast, just to see what I'm working with. Okay, so this is city, this is country. And I want to look for any relations with it. I think I'm gonna do a join on this because city has everything except for code, which is what I need. So to do that, I'm going to do this. Country. Country. And you're join. City. Country. Country. Province. Equals city. Dot. Province. Because those two are what seems to be connecting. And select. And that's just to, hold on, this right here is to see both of those tables joined together. So there's name, code, province, and the population. So now to answer the question, I'm going to do select country dot code and rename it as country code. Country province. I'm going to name it as name it as country. Then city dot name. Rename it as city name. And then I want to find the max population from city, from the city's table. Rename it as population. We'll do it from tree. And you're drawing city on country province equals city dot province. And then I'm going to group by country, code, country, province, and city name. And order by population in descending order. And now I'm going to, oops, I'm gonna execute. So it looks like Beijing is the city with the highest population. Just going down a little bit, I noticed this right here. So it seems to be a repeat, and it does that again somewhere else as well. Right here. Oops. Right there. So I kind of want to fix that. So that's really fast. I'm going to take a look at this diagram and determine which what connects the two, and it seems to be capital. So we're going to try that. So we're going to change this a little bit. Let's see. Instead of province, going to be capital. And then right here, country capital, city capital, or city name, which is the same thing. So if you look at, oops, this right here, name, capital, and those are the exact same. Change that one to capital. Okay, now let's try to execute this again, see if we get, so it's still Beijing going to be our top city with the highest population. Scroll down a little bit just to double check that all of the repeating has gone away. It looks like it has. So there is question 1. The answer is Beijing with the population of that. So for question 2, I have to pull each country together with a count of neighboring countries. For simplicity, exclude the countries that have no neighbors. So my resulting select clause should have the country code followed by the count of the neighboring countries. So this is from the borders table. So when I execute it, it's gonna pop up this. We see the country code for the country 1 column and for country 2 column. I know this because in the PDFs that was given to us, I looked at the relational schema of the model database folder, and this tells me exactly what I'm looking at. So I'm going to take a look at the borders table, and I started off by doing this. Select country 1, count. Country 1 as number of bordering countries from the borders table, group by country 1. So this is what I just created. The issue though, when I came across this is that when I came to this part, for simplicity's sake, exclude the countries that have no neighbors. I realized that the borders table already excluded the countries with no neighboring countries. So I would have to actually do a join to get all that information into one, especially for part 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that and do a join. So I'm going to do, and I'm also gonna take a look at the country table because it has the code, the country code column. You look at both. Country code has every single country. So for example, Cuba, that is a country that's not included in the borders table. So if you scroll down to C, there's no code C for Cuba. When I write it this way, I am only counting the countries when I write it this way, I'm only counting the repeating countries on the country 1 column instead of counting how many actual bordering countries are in the column 2, in the country 2 column. So to fix that, I'm going to do a join. I'm going to do country or select from country, name it country. Country dot name, country name, country code, that's country code. And then I'm going to do a count of country 1, name it number of bordering countries, do an inner join in the borders table. one country code, which should equal borders. Country one. We'll do a group by country name and the country code. And then border by we're bordering countries, right? And if I compare these two, if I compare to this will actually count what's on the right-hand side, the country 2 column, instead of counting the repeating on the country 1 column. And then I also added, labels to the columns, so it looks a lot more clean and easier to read. We're gonna do this by descending order. There we go. And then we can also look. And it shows you that we don't have any null values or zeros for the countries that have no neighboring countries. So that answers part 1 of question 2. And part 2, to part B, we're going to do the exact same thing, except use an outer join. A full outer join. And we're going to change this to country 2. And this should now include every single country, even those without any borders. So it shows you right here. Another way to check is like if I look for Cuba again, Cuba should be on here now. There it is. So that's how I know I did it right. Okay, for question 3, it says list the named percentages of all the ethnic groups in the United States such that the percentage of the population of each of the ethnic group is lower than the average percentage across all ethnic groups in the United States. So I want to take a look at the ethnic group table just to see what I'm working with. It's cute. Okay. And now I want to view all the data in the United States. I'm going to do select all from ethnic group where the country equal to USA. Order by percentage in descending order. Okay. And then we need to look for the average. So I like the average ethnic group. I'm going to select average percentage and rename it as average percentage from ethnic group where country equal to USA. All right, so that is our results. So our final result should be less than 3.746%. Okay, so final answer should be select name as ethnic group from ethnic group where country equal to United States and percentage is less than the average percentage ethnic group. And I have to define USA twice in the main query and in the subquery. Because the first where statement tells us to look for only the US ethnic groups. And then the second where statement makes sure that we're looking at the US ethnic groups with the percentage lower than the average. So this just makes it more specific. And then I'm going to group by name and percentage in order by percentage in descending order. So our final result should be this 18 results all in descending order, starting from French, ending in Dakota. Okay, for question 4, which African countries have an inflation rate that is greater than or equal to the average across all African countries? List the country and the inflation rate. Excuse me. So I want to start by viewing the economy table and the encompasses table. The encompasses table, if you look at the RS PDF file, encompasses shows the information which continent a country belongs to, and that's pretty relevant to what we need. So I'm going to pull up economy table, and then encompasses table. So it looks like we're going to eventually need to do a inner join of all the African countries from the encompasses table and match that to the economy table. So I'm gonna go ahead and view all data in Africa in the encompasses table to see which countries are in Africa. Select all from the encompasses table, where the continent is equal to Africa. It should be 60 countries. And I noticed that in the economy table, if you look at inflation, there are some null values. So I want to be careful about that in the next step. I'm going to find the inflation rate of all African countries. You select economy, country, name it as African countries, economy, inflation as inflation rate. From the economies table, name it economy, and we're going to do an inner join. From the encompasses table, name it encompasses. On economy, country, which should equal to the encompasses table, country, where the continent equal to Africa and inflation is not null. We're going to order by the inflation rate in descending order. So this should be all the African countries. It's now 53 instead of 60 because 7 of the countries had null inflation rate values. Okay. Now we're going to find the average inflation for these African countries. Select average. inflation, name it as average inflation for the economies table. Inner join. Compasses. On the country equal to encompasses country, where continent is equal to Africa. So our results should be greater than or equal to the average inflation rate of 5.89. So select economy.countries as African countries and economy inflation as inflation rate from the economies table. Inner join encompasses on economy country, which is equal to encompasses country, where continent is equal to Africa, and inflation greater than or equal to, select average inflation as average African inflation from economy, where continent equal to Africa, grouped by economy country and economy inflation, order by inflation rate in descending order. So came to come across an issue. These should not be here. Those are less than the 5.89 inflation rate average. So let me check this subquery really fast. Execute. Invalid column name continent. Okay, so we need to define the continent since it's not in the economy table. And we've already done that work, so we're gonna do this. Just copy and paste from what we did from above. Let's try that again. There we go. That's the right answer. So we needed the first inner join to find the countries we found in Africa in the economy table. And then the second inner join in the subquery to find the average inflation rate in all African countries where we join the encompasses table with the economy table to get the continent column. And this will be the answer. Okay, so for question 5, provide a list of all pairs of countries that are members of the same organization. List each pair AB only once by including only AB and not the symmetric pair BA in the result. Exclude countries that are members of no organizations. Select the pair of country codes. So I want to first take a look at each table. The tables that I'm going to be looking at is the organization table. And then from the is member table. So I noticed there are some null values that we might have to deal with. And it looks like we're going to have to do inner join based off of the abbreviation in the organization table. And the organization is the member table. So to do that, I'm going to do a select distinct organization country as the headquarters country because organization, it tells you information about political and economic organizations and gives you the city where the headquarters are located. And country as well. Yes. I'm going to do entry. Organization unit as org. So that covers that. Then I'm going to do an inner join. Is member. Mem. Name this mem on organization dot abbreviation. So member dot organization where organization country is not null, to get rid of the nulls. And member type is going to equal member. And organization country is less than member country. And we order by organization country in ascending order. So that'll look like this.